man, when you're in there, you seriously feel like you stepped through a portal into like a fairy realm. And you're sitting in a cafe run by Faye. Like, it is magic. Front door, and I was like, oh, somebody brought their dog. And no, it was a bear. But I'm starting to feel like there's hope that I'm getting back in a groove. I'm falling back in love with writing. I do still love it. And it can be enjoyable again, and we're heading in the right direction. Hello, I am on morning 1 of my writing retreat, and it has already been an adventure. My hair is wet, my face is red. I just got back from a walk, and I underestimated how different walking in the mountains is to walking on the beach, because at home I can walk like 6 miles, no problem. Today it was like under 2, but the elevation got me. I thought I was gonna die on the way back. So I've got my walk in. I've had a little bit of breakfast. I just had like a little snack. I didn't feel like going out, but yeah, this morning I woke up and was making coffee, chilling in the tiny house, and out of the corner of my eye, I see what at first glance I thought was a dog going by the front door. And I was like, oh, somebody brought their dog. And no, it was a bear. And then I was like, okay, did I lock my car? And I ran over to the bathroom window, and I'm watching out the bathroom window as this bear breaks into my car. And dude's done this before because he had no problem at all whatsoever just opening the door. I'm like, dude's practiced that move. And so I was like, nope, didn't lock the car. So ran back in here. Granted, it is a tiny house, so I didn't have far to go. I will give you a little tour of the house. It's super cute. But yeah, so ran back in here, grabbed my keys, ran back over to the bathroom and set the alarm off. And dude was real slow on the uptake. He was like in my car, and then he was like, what is this noise happening? What's going on? And then he like stands back, and he's like standing up on his hind legs, and he's just like steps back away from the car, and he just looks at it for like a solid minute before he's like, oh no, I don't want to deal with this. I don't understand what's happening. And then he bolts and he runs off, and I run outside and I shut my door and I lock my car. So lesson learned. Needless to say, that's not a frequent occurrence where I'm from. I have heard of it happening, and so I knew better. And last night I even thought like 2 or 3 times before bed, I'm like, did I lock the car? And I'm like, I always lock my car. I probably did. I should grab the car keys though and just check. And then like I thought that like 2 or 3 times while I was unpacking and getting settled. And needless to say, I guess I didn't do that, and I didn't lock my car after unloading everything. So yeah, a bear broke into my car this morning. That's a thing that happened. So it's been an eventful morning, but let me give you a tour. It's super cute. There's Crookie Shanks. This is her little food nook. So yeah, this is the front door, and the view out, like I feel like I'm in a tree house. There's this really cute little porch, little seating area. I'll probably sit out there and write some at some point. But yeah, I literally this morning from my bed was watching out the front door, and I watched over on this little rock right here. I watched a little chipmunk sunbathe and like root around here for food. It was really cute. That was after the bear incident. Tons of nature happening here. So yeah, this is the bed. It's pretty comfortable. There's a TV I don't plan on using. Crookshanks' cat bed. This is pet friendly. I did not sneak her in. I paid for her to come. And then there's like this chest. That's where I've got like all of my work stuff set up. Nightstand. I've got my vitamins, book stack, electrolytes, important to replenish. This is the kitchen setup. So there's like the little toaster oven guy. And then there's very scant dishes and stuff. Coffee pot works, tested that this morning. And there is a microwave and then a decent sized refrigerator. This is the dining situation. So I don't plan on really using that for anything but like food storage. I'm mostly just like sitting in bed and eating, or maybe I'll go outside. And then this is like the bathroom. So cool little sink, mirror, toilet, Crookshanks' litter box, travel edition. And then the shower's behind the door. It's just little shower, my workout clothes airing out to dry before I put them in the hamper. Take you outside and show you the outside. So cute little porch. Just listen. Well, you can hear the construction on the road happening, but there are birds singing. It's really sweet. So yeah, this morning the bear came around here and I saw him walk like right here in front of the porch, and he came over to my car and he opened that back door. There's evidence. There's proof. His little muddy fingerprints. So, show you the outside. Super cute. Little tiny house. It's adorable. Yeah, so I'm in comfy, just house clothes because I'm not planning on going out until I get some writing done and the road reopens later this afternoon. That'll be kind of my reward for getting some writing done. So I'm starting out, before the trip, I got through the first couple of chapters of like reading through what I'd written so far, doing some rewrites and editing and stuff like that. And then today I want to read through the rest of the manuscript up to this point, do rewrites along the way and all of that kinds of stuff. And then just kind of like make a list of characters, subplots, like everything that needs to be tied up in this last book. And then I'll start writing fresh words tomorrow is the plan, when Tina comes. And we're just gonna hang out in the tiny house all day tomorrow. I think it might be a rainy day tomorrow, but there is like that little like pergola thing over the porch. So I'm hoping if it's not raining too hard, we can sit outside and write a little bit. If not, like we can just get cozy in here and sit and write, and that'll be fun. But yeah, so I'm hoping to tomorrow start getting some serious words down. And then the plan is Friday, I'm gonna hang out here and get some writing done in the morning, and then I'm gonna meet Tina at a coffee shop in Asheville in the afternoon to have like an afternoon writing session again with her. And then I drive home on Saturday. So hopefully, I haven't set a goal. We need to set a goal. Let's see. I'm hoping, because things haven't been flowing very well, I'm hoping this will like kickstart. I feel like I'm really far away from you. I'm hoping this trip will like kickstart the writing juices again. I've been struggling for years. And yeah, so I'm hoping this trip will really kickstart that. I think usually like when I'm in flow, I could get 10,000 words on this trip easy. But because things aren't really flowing and I'm getting like back into the groove and like things have been a struggle bus, and like though I've been trying to get back into a writing routine and everything lately, it's really not happening, and I'm trying not to force it because I feel like that could do more harm than good. So I'm trying to show myself some grace, but I really, really, really want to get back into like a flow state and get writing done. So I'm gonna set a lowish goal, and then maybe mental hack. Like if I set a low goal, it won't be as intimidating and I'll be able to like sit and do it. And then if I surpass the goal, then that'll be like a dopamine hit that will be like, oh, okay, like let's set another low goal and just keep going from there. So I'm debating, like, do I set a daily goal or do I set a goal for like the whole writing retreat? Let's see. I think I'm gonna I'll set a goal for the whole writing retreat. And like I said, this is gonna be a low goal. I'm gonna set a goal of like 2,500 words. And hopefully I will get significantly more than that. But I think 2,500 words will be a good, like, okay, you're back in the saddle. The story is flowing again. 2,500 new words. I'm not going to count, I don't think, the rewrites. That's going to be after I catch up and get current on the manuscript. So like tomorrow and Friday, I'm hoping to get 2,500 words on those days. So today will just kind of be like a warm-up exercise of like going through the manuscript and doing all the rewrites. So yeah, all right. Without further ado, I need to grab some snacks. I need to drink some more electrolytes, and let's get writing.
This is the cutest writing buddy ever.
Are you Mama's little companionado?
Yeah.
Do you think Mama can write 2,500 words this week? Why does that look like a look of doubt? Okay, checking in. It is about 3:20 and I just laid down. I didn't actually take a nap, just laid down for a little while. I'm about halfway through my manuscript and looking like I'm not going to get that reward of going to the park for a walk around. So yeah, I'm definitely still on track and still holding to the goal of getting through my manuscript up to this point, finished tonight, and then starting with fresh words tomorrow. One of the things that I have been doing throughout the day is using Claude, AI, I know, but I'm not using it to write. But one of the things that I've been trying to do is compile that list of like minor characters that I need to maybe bring back around, or subplot lines I need to not forget, need resolution and stuff like that. And so I have been using Claude and uploading the manuscripts of the first 3 books for AI to review and create those lists of characters, lists of plot lines, subplot lines, reader questions, all this stuff. And because I'm using the free version, and it like resets like every 5 hours or something, I've only been able to do books 1 and 2 up to this point. At 7:40 p.m. I will be allowed to upload the manuscript for book 3. And then yeah, so tomorrow when I start, I will have finished the manuscript up to this point and all of the rewrites, and I will have uploaded and gotten the analysis of the first 3 books and everything that I need to remember to put into book 4. So that is one way in which AI can be really useful as a part of your writing without using AI to write books. It can just kind of expedite those things instead of me having to go back and reread all 3 books and highlight and take notes, which I had started doing and was the original plan, but I have run out of time for that. This has been really cool. And so I'm glad I thought to ask. I literally asked Claude, I was like, hey, is this something that you can do? Like, can I upload my manuscripts and you tell me these things? And it's like, yeah, I can tell you those things and these other things that you didn't even ask for that you're going to need. And I was like, oh, right. Yeah, that would be great. And so that's been a cool thing. Not being distracted because it's literally like, here's the manuscript for book 1. And then I run out of credit and can't do anything for 5 hours. So it's been great because it's not distracting, but it is getting a lot of work done. So yeah, that is where we're at. So I have quite a lot left to get through before I go to bed tonight. So I'm gonna get back to work. Update time. Okay, so it's just before 6 p.m. and I am done going through what existed so far of the manuscript for book 4. And I just did the math, and I actually only added, well, I took away a lot of things and I added a lot of things, but the overall addition to the word count was only 665 words. But again, I'm not counting that towards my goal. So it's about dinner time. I am gonna cook some food and just relax and enjoy the rest of the evening. And then when I'm allowed to, and Claude resets, I'm gonna go ahead and put in the manuscript for book 3 so that Claude can finish the figuring out what all needs to be addressed. And then I'm thinking that if it will let me tonight, cool. If not, then tomorrow morning I'm also probably gonna add or upload what I have somewhere so far of book 4 and add that to the analysis just so I have a full picture of everything that I need to make sure is going in. And yeah, so I'm not an outliner. I'm not a plotter. I'm very much a pantser. So that's all I need is just that list of don't forget to include these things. That's all I need. I'm not outlining. I'm not getting Claude to outline for me or anything like that. So that's how I'm using this in my writing, is just using it to go back and like read the past books and make those lists of characters, make the subplot lists and the things that still need to be resolved and that I haven't gotten around to yet, or things that I might have completely forgotten about that I mentioned in book 1 and then never came back to, which I hope there's not a lot of those because I do typically reread the whole series when I'm writing, subsequent books. But like I said, this time I ran out of time. I intended to, and I just didn't get it done before this writing retreat. I probably will still reread the books before I do my final read through of the finished manuscript of this book before I send it off for editing and all of that kinds of stuff. Just because AI is not human, it's not perfect, and it's gonna miss things or whatever, or it might inspire me to put some other things in there, or just, I don't know, like maybe my voice doesn't match, or like something that will bother me. So I am still planning to reread the whole series before I call the final draft, and then send it off for editing. So still part of the plan, but as far as for the purposes of this writing retreat and knowing what needs to be written and where I'm going from here and all of that kinds of stuff, I just thought it was really cool that Claude was able to do that, was able to read the first 3 books and give me those lists. Very helpful. So yeah, I'm calling it for the day. I am going to cook some dinner and I might read. I don't really know what I'm going to do with my evening yet. We'll see. But I'm just going to decompress. I've been reading all day, so I don't really know that I want to read. I might listen to an audiobook for a while. We'll see. I don't know. All right, well, I'll check back in with you guys later. Day 2, starting fresh words today. I'm in a beautiful spot. Tina Capricorn is here with me. And say hi. I'll link her books in the description down below. But yeah, so we're sitting outside. It's a gorgeous day. We're on the tippy top of a mountain with amazing views, and hopefully this will be inspiring enough for me to get some words down. So without further ado, I'm just gonna get to writing. I'll check in later.
Okay, so Tina just left. She's hitting the road, heading home for the night. It's like 4:30, 4:20-ish, but we're done writing together for the day. It's not quite dinner time, so I might still try to get some more words. Words are hard. Some more words down before I call it for the day. But just a progress update. I have written like 2,100-ish new words, but I got to a point in the manuscript where I could pull in some scenes that I had already drafted. So the manuscript is like a little over 3,700 words longer than it was yesterday. But only like 2,100 of those words are fresh new words that I wrote today. But still, 2,100 words, and I had set the goal for 2,500 words for the whole writing retreat. So I think it's pretty safe to say at this point that I'm probably going to reach that goal, which feels great. But yeah, so we'll see if, like, I don't know, I don't want to add pressure to it. I'm like, we'll see if I can hit that goal today, and then tomorrow, whatever. But trying not to add pressure. This is supposed to be fun. So yeah, no bears. We got to write in that pretty little spot in the woods overlooking the mountains at that picnic table, which is really weird because the seat is like super high and the table is like really low, so you can barely get your legs under the table. I felt like I was at a kiddie table. So that was interesting. Not the most comfortable, but the view was great. So debating now if I want to keep writing, where I want to keep writing. Do I want to go back to the picnic table? Do I want to sit on the porch? Do I just want to chill here in bed? Not sure. So I don't know. I might just take a break, eat a snack, and then write some more. But I'm not ready to call it for the day. So I'll check back in later and let you know what ended up happening.
Okay, so I think I'm calling it for the day. I did not actually get any new words written, but I did kind of go back through and just skim over what I read today and make notes on things I need to go back and add. Scenes, because if you've read my books, you know I switch POVs and there's like little scenes within each chapter. And so I was like, I need more space between these ones, and we haven't checked in with this character in a while. I need to remind myself we need to check in with them and stuff like that. So I went in and I added those notes between scenes of like, insert this scene here and stuff like that. So I have like basically a scene list to work on tomorrow. So there's lots of scenes to add, characters I need to remember to check in on and stuff like that will, I think, help with the pacing, because I was just brain dumping today. I'm also thinking that I might take a break from writing basically chronologically, like writing the book as you read it. And I might hop over to, because there are some instances within this series where it's been beneficial, maybe not easier, but it's been beneficial for me to go and either write scenes from multiple character perspectives to see whose I want to use. But in this instance, I think I might need to write basically the final conflict, like from like in its entirety from each character's perspective, and then go back and order the scenes and sequence things the way that I want things to be revealed, if that makes sense. So I might just focus on writing it through each character's POV in its entirety, and there will be things that get cut that don't ever make the final manuscript, but that's what they were doing while all of this other stuff was happening, but we're going to hear from these characters. And then that's something that I can just share on Patreon later. So I might be making more work for myself, but I think it'll just be good for my brain to get my head wrapped around. There's so much going on. There's so much action. There are so many characters, like all the freaking characters. And it's total chaos. So just trying to make sense of it in my brain and trying to keep things straight, and also make sure I'm revealing the most important things that are happening at the right times and stuff like that. I think it might just be easier if I just go back and I write the whole thing from every character's perspective all the way through. I hope that made sense. But yeah, so I'm calling it. I am writing my Patreon update for the day, for the writing retreat day 2 update. So I'm going to be posting that to Patreon here in just a sec. And yeah, maybe I'll be working on some deleted scenes for Patreon tomorrow. Intentional deleted scenes. But yeah, it's just part of the writing process. Sometimes you just have to get it all out of your head, and then you see what you have to work with and then go from there. So, but yeah, the juices are flowing. I'm feeling really good about the progress that's been made, but I feel even better about like the list of things that I have that I know I need to work on, as far as like the characters I need to check in on, conflicts that need resolution, plot lines that need to be tied up, and all of that questions that need to be answered, like all the things. Like I have a really good list to work on. And my brain is working on autopilot in the background while I'm doing other things. Like my brain is writing the story in the background again, which feels great because it hasn't done that in a really long time. So I feel like that engine is being like re-kickstarted. And so I'm feeling good. I feel like this writing retreat has definitely served the purpose of getting the juices flowing again, so that when I go home, I know that there will be days where I'll be able to just carve out some time, maybe not an entire day like here, but I can go to a coffee shop, I can sit at home, or like I can carve out some time and write, and there will be words that flow. And that hasn't happened in a really long time, not in a way that felt good. It's been feeling like pulling teeth, and that's not fun. And I don't write books for money. I don't do this to try to get famous or anything like that. Like I write books because I enjoy storytelling. I like writing, or I used to, and I was kind of getting scared there for a minute. Like, do I just not love this anymore? But I think it's a lot of stress brain. I think it's a lot of my health struggles. It's a lot of grief. It's a lot of other things happening. But I'm starting to feel like there's hope that I'm getting back in a groove. I'm falling back in love with writing. I do still love it, and it can be enjoyable again, and we're heading in the right direction, which is more than I could have asked for. It's exactly what I hoped for this writing retreat. It was never really about a word count goal this time around. It was more about like getting back into a flow state, and I feel like we're getting there, and that feels really good. So I'm not going to push myself to the point of burnout or running out of words. I'm going to leave it while I feel like I'm in a good place, and I'm going to make some dinner, prep some snacks, and as part of my reward, I started watching the old BBC Pride and Prejudice. So I watched episode 1 last night, and I'm gonna watch a couple episodes tonight so that I can watch the last episode tomorrow night when I get back from writing with Tina. So that's been my little reward at the end of the day. I didn't think I was gonna use the TV, but after reading all day, my eyes just kind of needed the break. I didn't want to read anymore. So even though I brought a stack of books with me, you can see them right here. Brought a stack of books. I don't feel like reading them. So I've been watching that in the evening and just winding down, cuddling Crookshanks and snacking. So it's been peaceful. It's been really nice. So far, no more incidents with bears. So that's a win. We were sitting out there on the picnic table, writing, and every time we heard any kind of noise in the woods, we're like, bear, squirrel. And then a snake went by, like right next to the picnic table, and Tina's like, did you see that? I was like, I hear it. I can't see it, but I hear a snake. And she's like, yeah, I don't know what kind of snake that was. I'm not sure if it was poisonous or not. And I'm like, we're naturing. Nature's coming out to greet us this weekend and say hello, or week. We're in the middle of the week. It's not a weekend. Feels like a weekend, but whatever. I digress. I'm going to go chill for the night and take it easy and just celebrate feeling good about how this is going. And I will check back in tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. It is day 3 of this writing retreat, and it is a cool, crisp morning. It's beautiful outside, so I decided that for my morning writing session, I'm gonna sit out here on the porch and start by just reading over what I wrote yesterday. And then, as I said, I went through last night and made some notes of things I need to add and stuff like that. So I might just start writing some of those scenes. And let me see, a little high. Maybe that's better. Yeah, so I'm just gonna start writing out here. My Propel bottle advertisement, not sponsored. And then I'll probably take a break around lunchtime, and then I'm gonna be meeting Tina later this afternoon at I think we're gonna do like a coffee crawl. I think we're gonna go to a couple different cafes maybe this afternoon, and she was telling me that near in West Asheville we're going to be checking out those coffee shops, and in the same neighborhood there's apparently a stationery store that I would like to check out. So that might be my reward for finishing this writing retreat, is to go and check out one of those stationery store and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna have a couple different writing sessions today. I think I'm gonna head back out to the park that I found yesterday to do my walking later when I'm already gonna be out. Getting up and down this mountain is like insane switchbacks and like really rustic gravel roads. Tina had a little bit of a hard time getting up here yesterday because she just drives a regular car. I have an SUV, so it's a little easier for me. But yeah, it's a trek. So I try not to go out more than once a day. I don't want to do that back and forth all the time. So I think I'll probably eat lunch, and then I'll go for my walk, and then head out to West Asheville to meet Tina. I might actually even just look for a park or a walking trail or something out that way. If there's a cool one to check out, we'll see. I'll look that up later. And yeah, so that's my plan. So I'm just gonna get to it. My first writing session of the day. Wish me luck. Good morning. Can you hear those birds? It's so peaceful. Forgot to check back in last night. I did post my update on Patreon for the day. But yeah, yesterday was my last day in town. So I had some places I needed to stop by and see, and things I needed to pick up before going home. So I had my little writing session yesterday morning on the porch, which I think I filmed that. And then I went to Dough House in Black Mountain because they do gluten-free donuts. So I placed a really big order of gluten-free donut holes to pick up this morning on my way out of town, to pop in my freezer, just stock my freezer. And then I went to Sassafras bookstore in Black Mountain, and it is such a cute bookstore. There's a little cafe inside. There's places to curl up and read and drink some coffee. They have a wildly awesome selection of stationery, like cards and stuff, a lot of them done by local artists. Like, they have the cutest blind date with a book display I've ever seen. So I'll try to include a lot of that in here. I did not do a good job of shooting any B-roll yesterday to show you everything that I was up to. I was just trying to be in the moment, I guess. But then, yeah, after Sassafras, I made my way to West Asheville and went to meet Tina, because we were going to meet up for a cafe writing session. So she was still wrapping up at work, and I had some time to kill, so I went into Whilst. I'm gonna have to look it up. I'll link it below, but it's a stationery shop there. And again, bought a lot of cards and like really cute sticky notes and stationery type things. I got some gifts for some people and stuff like that, so I stocked up there. Went and dropped that back off in my car and met Tina at Flora. And there's also so Flora is like, it's magical, but it's like a florist meets like a plant nursery, because they don't just do like floral bouquets and stuff, but they do have like house plants for sale. They had like handmade soaps and gardening supplies and like just all kinds of like really cute gifty type things. And then they also, like next door, but it's connected, they have like a little cafe called Forage. And I got a golden hot chocolate, which I've never had a golden anything before. I've been curious about it, but I've never tried golden milk or anything like that. So I got a golden hot chocolate. It was really good, but the turmeric really got me in the back of the throat. But it was tasty. And man, when you're in there, you seriously feel like you stepped through a portal into like a fairy realm. And you're sitting in a cafe run by fae. Like, it is magical. It is dark cottagecore is how I would describe it. They have like dried flowers and even dried like straight up tree branches, like strapped and like hanging from the ceiling. So like you feel like you're in like an apothecary in the forest, or like you're in a forest, and the walls are painted like this really dark green. And so it's really relaxing. It's really, I don't know, it's beautiful. I did not take any footage while I was in there. There were other people in there trying to work, and I wanted to be respectful. But I did take some pictures of like our writing setup, and so you can look in the background, you can kind of see like the vibe, but I'll also post their Instagram in the description box, because if you're ever in the area, you have to check it out. Like, if I lived here, that would be my office. I would just write there every day. It was beautiful, but that's really what I want to go for with like the vibe from my office. Like, whenever I finally get it done, like that's what I want my office to feel like. It was just absolutely beautiful. So yeah, so we got some writing done there. And then we went for a walk, and we walked a hiking trail along the river. And then I had to make my way back to the house so I could start packing, because I wanted to get the car as packed as possible last night, because I really need to hit the road early today. And so yeah, I got a lot of the packing done, not any of the food, because I did not want to invite Mr. Bear on the road trip home. So yeah, all the food and stuff had to wait until this morning, so I'm getting that together to get that loaded up. But I wanted to check back in and wrap this up, because I know I didn't check in last night, so I was like, oh, I need to have an ending, you know. So yesterday the word count was not impressive, but like I said, I did a lot of other running around and stuff like that. So the word count for yesterday was 1,744 words, which brought the total for the writing retreat, added words to the manuscript, to 5,611 words. And I'm really happy with that. I also think I figured out the dissonance in my head, because it wasn't really writer's block that I was like suffering from. I think all the grief and health stuff aside, I think the main problem that I was dealing with this manuscript specifically was I felt like I kept like writing up against a wall and then like stopping, and like I felt like I was having to force it, or I was pushing too hard, or like it didn't feel good. And it's like when you're in the gym working out and you feel you hit that wall and you're like, if I push too hard, I'm gonna hurt it, I'm gonna break something, like whatever. It was that kind of like resistance. And so I think I figured it out. I think it's because this is the first time that I've ever written the last book of a series. And so typically in like the first 3 books, you're working your way up to this big epic like final battle scene or like whatever. And it takes place at the end of the book. But because this is the last book in a series, that's taking place closer to like the middle of the book, because you still have to like wrap up all the loose ends. You have to have the satisfying ending, or like the happily ever after, or like, you know, there's other stuff that has to happen after it in the last book. Whereas like if there's going to be a next book, you can leave more of a cliffhanger and you just set up. But in this one, you need total resolution, and that's going to take time. And so it felt wrong, it felt weird, it felt bad, honestly, that I was like already starting this epic battle scene or whatever, and I was like, I'm not far enough into the book for this, like why is this happening now, like this is too soon and stuff like that. But then like I like while walking or while driving from the cafe after a writing session to where we were going to go and walk, it like occurred to me, and I was like, oh, like it needs to happen in the middle of the book this time, because this is the last book in the series. So that was a really good like kind of realization to have. Sorry, I'm just talking a lot. But yeah, so I'm happy to figure that out. I've got a long drive home today to kind of like ponder on that and flesh that out a little better. I've seen so much nature while I've been here. But I'm also really well set up for what to write when I get home, and knowing where I'm going next, and like the words are ready. Like I stopped when I still had more to say. And I told Tina, I was like, I know we haven't been writing very long. I know I haven't gotten like that many words down, but I kind of do want to stop now. First of all, because I need to walk, because I've walked every single day since March 9th, at least a mile, and I'm not breaking my streak today. I was like, but secondly, like I want to stop while I have more to say, because it's going to make it easier to sit down and keep writing when I get home, and set that tone, not on a writing retreat, but getting it to be back a part of my daily routine. And so I've got a lot of things swirling around in my head. So by the time I get home, I hope I'm going to have like a lot more fleshed out in my mind, that I'm ready to just sit down and write. So that's my hope. I feel really good about where I'm at there. But yeah, this little place, like super freaking cute. If you're in driving distance, like highly recommend this little Airbnb. I'll post it down below as well. There's another little Airbnb like right behind me, right there. And so I think me and a friend of mine are gonna rent them at the same time again, and like come and write together, but have like our own little houses. So that'll be a fun little writing retreat. And it's awesome that Tina lives close enough to join us. A.M. McPherson joined us via Discord, so that was fun. And yeah, so it's been so good. And then yeah, I've seen a bear, I've seen chipmunks, I've seen bunnies, I've seen snakes. Like I mean, the birds are phenomenal and they're so cute. I saw a white squirrel. I'm in the same state, but we don't have those where I live. But it was like an all white squirrel with like a little gray streak down its back. So like, I don't know. I love going to different places. And Tina and I were talking about this yesterday on our walk, how like the United States is so biodiverse. And like you really can travel within the country and feel like you're visiting a completely different country. I'm from an island. We don't have old castles and stuff, but I come to Asheville and there's like Biltmore Estate and stuff, and I'm like, this feels like Europe to me. Like this doesn't like, this is wild. And then just like, I don't know, just the different creatures you see, the different trees and plants. And on our walk again, I was pointing out things and I was like, I feel like this is world building, like this is fantasy stuff, because I'm walking down this path and I am fascinated by your weeds, because you have different weeds than we do, and your weeds are prettier than our weeds and stuff like that. And I'm just looking at all this stuff and I'm like, man, God is so creative. And like, he just went full send on this whole creation thing, because the earth is beautiful and there's so much to see. And yeah, I think that's why I like fantasy so much. I love the world building aspect. I think Tolkien had it right when he talked about like sub creation. It's just so much fun. It's so beautiful. It's just the ultimate creative outlet, I think. So yeah, just really enjoyed this trip, feeling really, really good about what I accomplished, and how it has set me up to keep going when I get home. So without further ado, the sun is finally coming up, so I'm gonna get my car loaded and then I'm gonna go pick up my donuts and hit the road with Crookshanks. So yeah, I'll hopefully get this video out to you guys soon. I'll link all the fun things down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Crookshanks. All right, baby, get in your seat. Just got to Dough House, waiting for them to open. My adventure cat. She actually really likes car rides. She's like a golden retriever in the body of a cat. She's like, where are we going? Adventure? Yes. With mama? Oh yeah. Sign me up. You gonna jump on the dashboard? You can, because we're stopped. You're giving the people a nice view of your butt. Life with cats. No ma'am.
No escapees.
Alright. Watch your face. Donuts acquired. I'm so excited. It's so nice having like options for gluten-free, because I got cinnamon sugar, pretty basic, vanilla glazed, pretty basic, but I also got maple glazed, chocolate glazed, and strawberry glazed donut holes. Gluten-free. I'm so excited. Okay, freezer's gonna get stocked. All right, and they're huge. They're like the size of hush puppies. They're, well, I guess I could show you. Like, look at that. So excited. All right, hitting the road.